can get it talking. You can get it walking. You can feel it coming on about 4. A hard-earned thirst.
Playboys are around about right. Our Catalina's about 5 points better on TAB figures. That's number 8. And that just about sees out the race. But some money on track for Tyrrell Pete in about a half a point to $4. And Veloca is still clearly favourite on track at about $3.50. So both favourites, you're being asked to take the unders on the tote. And if you fancy one of the top 3, I can tell you they're all very easy in the betting on track. Cripitus has more than doubled its opening quote. Danapak's been easy, and Our Shakeen has doubled its quote on track. So Veloca the 1, along with Tyrrell Pete, and Veloca the favourite just from Tyrrell Pete on the track. There's number 13, about to move into its spot, Just a Wish, with Claire Lindop in the saddle, claiming 1.5 kilos. This event over 1,300 metres, and it's the last one before the big one of the day, coming up at 2 o'clock. And if you've never seen a grand annual steeplechase at Warrnambool, you are in for a treat this afternoon. It is one of the most spectacular races on the calendar. They'll run in the clockwise direction for the first part of the race, then they run out into open country, uphill, down dale. It really is spectacular. Here's Brian for race 4 at Warrnambool.
This is race 4 today. Just repeating the quadrilla in races 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8 for the quadrilla today. And the last one up is Our Catalina. And they're set for the 4th. They're all loaded. Stand by for a start. No, Our Catalina not quite in. It's in now the grey. Set to go. Line is good. Signal. Racing. Out in a good line too. Just a Wish was one of the best away near the inside. Putter bounced away quickly with it on the outside. Our Catalina. Further out on the track, showing good speed now as Rancho Lad. There followed a length off by Joe Hant, then Just a Wish. Further back in the race then came Our Shakeen, followed by Danapak. Getting it back out of its ground now is Crepitus over on the outside there of Tyrrell Pete and 2 or 3. Veloca has gone back to last and back second to last on the inside. Palace Playboy. The leader is Putter, crossing to the fence. A length and a half, Our Catalina, 3 deep but going up second. Back in the middle, running third, Rancho Lad. Just a Wish the fence from Our Shakeen, 3 out. A length further back, Joe Hant, a half. Tyrrell Pete the inside from Danapak. Crepitus. Further back in the race then came to the outside, Full Armain. Up on the inside then starting to pick up a bit of ground, Palace Playboy. Full Armain went back to second last, and Veloca hard ridden last of all. Coming up inside the 600 metre mark, Putter about a length and a half in front from Rancho Lad. They're followed on the outside there by Our Catalina, and Our Shakeen pulled out deep. Just a Wish went back to the fence, and then Crepitus. A few of these are swinging way off the track when they turn, but Putter hard on the fence, 2.5. Just a Wish has made good ground. Then Rancho Lad third, followed by Tyrrell Pete. Further back, Crepitus. A few have chanced their arm to go to the outside, but it's not with a bumper out there at the moment because this leader Putter's over 3 in front of Just a Wish. Then further back, Rancho Lad, followed by at the outside Tyrrell Pete, but Putter far too good, wins by 3 lengths in the run home. Second in the race, Just a Wish, almost a dead heat third. Maybe Tyrrell Pete knows Rancho Lad, nothing in it. A gap in the race further back, the inside Palace Playboy. Further back in the race then came Danapak. Veloca never came into the play from Crepitus. They're followed by Full Armain. A couple that went out wide didn't make any ground, and they were Our Catalina, further back Our Shakeen, and Joe Hant near the tail.
Winning double for Leon Corstens with number 6 Putter, Darren Gauci, and it travelled beautifully in the lead. Coming around the home turn, watch 2 or 3 of these just head straight for the outside of the track, but they've lost a lot of ground in doing so. And Putter was like a greyhound coming around the turn, just railed hard, as did the first winner, Smoke Me. And Gauci went for it about the 200 metre mark, and this is drawn clear, Putter, and has won quite convincingly. Just a Wish, number 13, is in second place with Claire Lindop aboard, and third is a photo. Brian fancies number 7, Tyrrell Pete, might just get it for Adam Murphy, just in front of number 14, Rancho Lad, but it is 6, 13 and a photo. And number 7 has got third, Tyrrell Pete. Number 7 third, so 6, 13 and 7, the official placings. And that was a pretty convincing victory, Adam.
Yeah, it's another one. We've seen a couple over the past few days that have had the race won at the top of the home straight, and that was another example there. Putter looked to be going quite strongly all the way. It was a little bit, well, it fluctuated on track. It was about 7 to 1 out to 9 to 1, back into about 8 to 1 right at the finish. We can see that, well, Johnny Bell mentioned earlier on, he made a real point of highlighting this horse to us early on, because he said it was carrying blinkers for the first time, or wearing blinkers for the first time. And he mentioned that the first 2 winners today had had blinkers for the first time. So, you know, it's always a big watch as far as a horse goes having them for the first time, but it's been a key factor today.
And I think he might have had a tongue tie on as well. So Putter the winner there, 8.70 and 2.60, and Belly bringing us right up to date with that late information about the gear changes, as Adam said. Just a Wish second, $8.90, Tyrrell Pete third at $1.50, and it finished up starting the tight favourite. Quinella paid $180.10, Trifecta $1,848.80, and the running double paid on a pair of sixes, Galatea and Putter, $40.20. Darren Gauci, the winning rider there, and Leon Corstens, the winning trainer after race 4 at Warrnambool. And so the way is paved for the big one, the Grand Annual Steeplechase. Race 5 coming up at 2 o'clock, and that will be followed by the CUB Warrnambool Cup at 2:45 on a 9-race program today at Warrnambool. Not the greatest of weather conditions. They did have a very heavy shower probably about an hour or so ago, but conditions are overcast, but not too bad down there at the moment, and let's hope that things stay fine for the running of the 2 big events today. There's the winner, Putter, back to scale now, and Darren Gauci about to hop on the scales. Placings there, 6, 13 and 7, race 4 at Warrnambool. There are the dividends. We'll take a break and we'll come back and take a look at the next at Moonee Valley, race number 3, which is due at 1:40.
Vivace, Melbourne's only fine music program, can be seen Tuesdays at 8:30.
So my second one, I wanted to focus on a neglected composer.
Performers from all over Melbourne showcase their work in a variety of styles. Interviews and performances from some of Australia's best up-and-coming artists.
The jazz band, The Swing Thing.
Fine music on Vivace, each Tuesday at 8:30 here on Channel 31. Join Frank each Sunday at 8 o'clock for the Bike Show. Riding styles, tips, current events and the latest model bikes make the Bike Show compulsive viewing.
We promote trail riding and that sort of thing for people, basically give people properties to ride on.
Are we getting more kids back on bikes?
Yeah, I think so. There's really a resurgence lately in motorcycling.
The TRX is a fantastic...
The Bike Show, each Sunday at 8 o'clock here on Channel 31.
Coming up tonight on Northern Community News, Northwest's unemployment underestimated, a bank closure opposed, CityLink project under fire, controversy over the new Metcard ticketing system and the City of Whittlesea's 4th logo. In sport, the Calder Cannons defeat the Western Jets and Keilor Thunder scores its 2nd win. All that plus the community bulletins here on Northern Community News, 8:15 p.m. tonight on Channel 31.
Welcome back to Midweek at the Races on Channel 31. We're live at Warrnambool here, where correct weight has just been semaphored on race 4 here, with Putter winning a late go in the betting ring, 9s into 8s. Trained by Leon Corstens. Well, Leon, that's 3 winners for the Carnival. Unfortunately, you haven't got a few more because there was a Mercedes on offer for the trainer who could provide 5 winners. You should have stacked your numbers a little bit better.
I tried hard, but things didn't work out the way we planned, so we'll have to have a go next year.
Oh, well, your garage is full anyway.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think my wife would like a Merc.
Well, Leon, you put the blinkers on Putter today, and as you said earlier in the day, he was a bit wayward last day, but it did the job today.
Yes, it did. Lincoln Coffey rode him at Sandown last start, and he said that when the horse got in behind, all he wanted to do was run away from other horses, didn't concentrate on all, and today he's done the job with the blinkers on.
Well, you've enjoyed your days down here with the 3 winners, unfortunately. How many runners have you had down here?
I think about 6,
yeah.
5 or 6, yeah.
You were hoping for a miracle then. Well, Bye Bye Buster was a short price one. Maybe it's lucky he didn't win, or you would have been very distraught.
If Bye Bye Buster had a run, I think Higgins' horse would have been running around on the last today.
Yeah, what's he doing, Roy? He's scratching horses on you now.
Oh, I don't know. Nah, we talked about it last night. The track's too heavy and we've drawn out very wide, so I think the best thing we did was pull him out.
Yeah. All right, Liam, well, congratulations, and hope you enjoy the remainder of the day.
I certainly will.
Good on you. Leon Corstens there, the trainer of Putter, who led all the way to win race 4 at 8-1, Just a Wish at 40-1, and Tyrrell Pete 3-1. Veloka was the 11-4 favourite, and if you're on it, you're certainly never got into the action and never looked like her to threaten winning the race, but obviously the heavy ground was a little bit tough for him. Just noticeable now that as we come up to the quaddie legs, the track is playing well indifferent. I think the one thing you can be sure of that you definitely need heavy track horses. A few jockeys tried to experiment going out wide to the ground that hasn't been used a lot over the 3 days. They really never got near being in the finish. Whether or not those horses weren't good enough or the ground out there is of no benefit, we'll find out shortly. But there is a few roughies starting to poke their head in the last 2 races. We've had a 50-to-1 place getter and a 40-to-1 place getter. So might be a little bit tricky to quaddie, but the first leg's coming up in around 25 minutes.
It is always tricky. Thank you to John Bell down there at Warrnambool. And interesting to note, the last 2 races, the numbers past the post at Warrnambool have been 6, 13 and 7 in that order. Don't see that too often.
It's remarkable, isn't it? Just trying to see who the, well, can't occur in the next. It was a 6 a scratch. Yes. Anyway.
Gallaty won the previous, as you saw there, race 3. So if we could just have another look at that, Brendan, the trifecta on race number 3 there. We saw that it paid $2,095.60, and then the trifecta on race 4 for the same numbers, 6, 13 and 7, paid $1,848.80. So you're around about $4,000 better off if you've got those successive trifectas on races 3 and 4. There it is, $1,848.80. So if you're a 6, 13, 7 punter, well, jolly good luck to you, and you know where you can find us. The next here at Moonee Valley, coming up at 1:40. And we've got a field of 14 here, big field, over 1,940 metres. This might resemble a demolition derby if we're not careful.
Well, I want you to try and digest this. There's 14 runners, 3-year-olds. A lot of them have had limited experience, and it's a stand start.
Uh-oh.
So...
sounds like one of those media races we had here a few years ago.
Throw them all into a mix master and see which one spits out first. I think that'll be around about it, but... have a look at the betting here. It's just
5.40 the field.
Absolute lottery, this one. Super Rose has got a chance. Look, my selection in the race was number 10, Greek Fighter. Certainly on an each-way basis. That goes without saying in a field like this. But it's very open. 5.40 the toppy, 7.60 Marty Navigator, 7.70 for Gavin Langstride, My Oil, Sir Jake Cheval for Johnny Caldo at 8.70. $5.50 Super Rose, and there's my tip at 10.40. It's Greek Fighter. On track, we've got almost each way odds. The field, the favourite is number 6, Sir Jake Cheval, just ahead of number 11 Super Rose and number 4 Marty Navigator. But the bookies are just as wary as punters going into this one, opening up with a lot in their favour percentage-wise.
Maybe we could take Cano Zorba and Greek Fighter in a Quinella. That might be the Omen Quinella. We were going to talk to Chris Alford out the back, but I think the stewards might have just grabbed him away from Billy Hutchison. In fact, he's still there, so quickly we'll go out and see what Chris thinks of his horse in race number 3.
If you'd sped it up a bit, Adam, I could have spoken to Chris for the last 3 or 4 minutes, but we know you like to talk, don't we?
True.
I won't get too much out of him because he's a good mate of yours. Cano Zorba, it's 14 horse field, 10 metres behind, only 1940. Do you give him a little chance?
Well, it's a very strange race, Bill, and as you said, 1940 stand, sort of first 50 metres is crucial, you know, and he's either very fast away or very bad, so if he's very fast away, he's got a chance. If he's bad away, he's out of the race.
I think it's one of those races, Chris. The right horse in the right position will probably win the race, but
that's right.
We can't tell before the race. We've got to wait until they settle down. It's too late to get on. You've got So He Does in the next race, the claimer.
Yeah, I think he'll go very well today. He's drawn 7. I'm going to press forward and look for the lead, and if not, be in the death, and that's where he likes to race. And
it's been a little bit ordinary the last couple.
Yeah, but he just doesn't try if he's not up near the front. Right. He hasn't drawn to be up near the front, and today he has, so full go today.
Now, bigger things are happening tomorrow night at Harold Park, and we were just having a look through the first of all the Pacers Derby, because you've got Tailor-Made Lombo's going to take on the boys in the Derby. I think were we talking a little bit about Concord Lombo at this stage last year, having a go at the boys in a derby?
Yeah, Concord raced in the Australian Derby and finished badly held up 6th.
Right, yeah. And you'd rate Tailor-Made better than Concord?
I'd say so, yeah. And tomorrow night's field's a good field, but she's flying.
Bit hard to know how they're going to line up. I mean, you know that she's probably got something on most of the fillies, or all the fillies that she's raced against this season. Any thoughts on, you've drawn 2 on the second line, obviously, well, Adam was telling you the 2-horse doesn't come out that flash. Any thoughts on where you're going to be and the opposition you're racing?
Yeah, well, I've seen a few of the other horses, and they, like Saab's a nice horse from Perth, and Holmes DG, everyone knows how good he is, but he's in the same predicament as me. He's drawing the inside the back, and that's a pretty bad draw around Harold Park.
Especially for him, he's not a high-speed horse, is he?
No, and he's going to be a long way back, I'd say, early, and you know, I just have to hope I get a nice clean run through, and she can sprint really quick as well as do work, and you know, I think she's got a great chance with a bit of luck.
How do you rate Tailor-Made Lombo, truly?
Oh, I think she'd be the best 3-year-old filly in Australia easily, and you know, she's well up with the best colts too.
Yeah, I think she's not the best 3-year-old filly I've ever seen. It's hard to know how you compare with other eras, but gee, she's just got something special about her, isn't she?
Yeah, well, at this stage, she's sort of done everything unextended so far, so maybe when she gets pushed, she mightn't find anything, but I really think she will.
Now, they're going out, Chris, but before I let you go, the other mission is Snoopy Kiosk in the Trotters Championship, into the Dominion Trotters Championship. 15 metres behind in a 13-horse field.
Yeah, that makes it tricky around Harold Park, but he's worked well since he won, and Dad said he travelled up well, so fingers crossed he'll go through the series well.
He sure looked like he turned the corner into a real top horse Saturday night. Will he continue on with that form?
I think so. You know, he's just full of confidence at the moment, the horse, and you know, as long as he doesn't get any bad luck, he'll represent Victoria well.
I thought the most interesting thing in Adam's terrific story in the Herald Sun today was that your father has really stepped him up into fast sectionals when he's working him, rather than just letting him do it under his own steam.
Yeah, well, that's right. He had to sort of to do it after Night Pistol beat him that night, and he had to either go one way or the other, and he worked him harder, and it seemed to work.
All right, mate, best of luck. You're representing Victoria very strongly in 2 huge races tomorrow night. We'll all be looking.
Thanks, Bill.
Good on you, Chris. Thanks, boys.
We're allowed to talk now?
We're just waiting on Hutch's permission, aren't we?
Is that okay, Hutch?
Everything's okay.
Thanks, mate. And has Chris's horse come out yet? Oh, no.
He's delayed us. He's delayed the start of the race.
Delayed by Adam.
Let's have a look at the figures for the Grand Annual Steeplechase at Warrnambool Race 5 coming up at 2 o'clock. And here are the tote fancies. And very interesting on the tote to see that Turkey Lane is the favourite. We've got Lake Thor coming up the second pick early, but now the second pick is the Sundance Kid, Lake Thor into third pick, and there's not much between the 3 of them, but it's very interesting to see that Turkey Lane has come up the favourite.
Must be because I tipped it. No, wouldn't go that far. I suppose it went through the heavy very well across there at Oakbank. Did the job very well there. I was across there for that race, so yeah, look, it's a pretty good pointer towards its chances. You can see its form certainly goes well into this. The Sundance Kid, I mean, we've seen the replay of that race over and over again. I mean, if you believe what you saw there, you have to tip it on top. But Turkey Lane did beat it over at Oakbank. The weights are different this time, and the Sundance Kid has probably benefited from the experience, whereas Turkey Lane's only had 1 run since, and that was a hurdle win. So there, look at its form. We'll see on the heavy track, 5 starts for 2 wins, and most importantly, those 2 wins on the heavy have been at its most recent 2 runs. You can see it won by 6 lengths there at Oakbank, surprised everybody at 25s, and then it came out in a pretty ordinary hurdle field and scrambled home there, but it is obviously much better suited over the bigger jumps.
On track, I can tell you that the Sundance Kid is just the favourite in the early betting from Turkey Lane. Usurper is the 3rd pick and Lake Thor is the 4th pick, but there is a 1.5 between 4 of them, and you don't often see that in a race like the Grand Annual Steeplechase. The big one is due in 27 minutes' time. We'll take a break. You're watching the Warrnambool Cup and Grand Annual Day, and also harness racing from Moonee Valley on Channel 31.
Now you can do something about a snowy, ghosty or weak picture. Call the people who fix these problems every day. Deeper Image. Phone 9808 6999. Ghosting and snowing can be avoided. Deeper Image will give you reception advice and install the right antenna system for your local area. They can connect all your TVs to the one antenna. Phone 9808 6999. Deeper Image. Delivering images through technology.
Is that there's
Join Chris Quinlan each Monday at 8:30 for Melbourne Musos, your weekly jam session with some of Melbourne's and the world's best musicians.
4 with the left. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Tips and techniques for a variety of musical styles. Melbourne Musos, bringing music to life. Mondays at 8:30 here on Channel 31. Music and interviews make Noise TV a must-see for anyone with a passion for music. Metal, thrash metal and hardcore make Noise TV an exciting program.
Lots of taste, lots of talent.
Noise TV, here on Channel 31. The Programming Department of Channel 31 is looking for previewers. Previewers give programs a classification and check for technical, copyright and defamation problems. Applicants should be broad-minded, interested in different cultures and current affairs, and have a high level of comprehension of written and spoken English, including Australian slang. Full training is provided. If you're interested, contact Rosemary during business hours on 9663 5831.
Points at Warrnambool, and they'll be certainly taking up positions on the hill, one of the favoured viewing spots for the Grand Annual Steeplechase. We're 24 minutes away from the big event at Warrnambool, and the Sundance Kid has been a little easy in the betting there. Turkey Lane has been steady. Lake Thor just a fraction easy. Usurper just a fraction easy. So Turkey Lane, which is the tote favourite, is the steady one at the moment, but 4 great chances, all within 1.5 points of each other in the Grand Annual. More immediate matters. Race number 3 here at Moonee Valley. Runners are on the track, and it won't be too long before they're called up to what should be an interesting race, especially at the start, Hutchie.
Oh, we call it the Tats Lotto, don't we?
Oh, there's no doubt of this. I mean, this is... with 14 runners and them all sort of crashing into each other, it depends on which horse gets in the right spot, but you can't bet after they've gone 400 metres, can you?
Yeah, that's exactly
Well, they used
right.
to be able to.
At least Shane Templeton stopped that, didn't he?
I don't think so. Interesting, number 1, Lee Torado's well in the market. It had ability. It's changed hands recently and gone to Johnny Dewhurst, and I know that it was well fancied at Geelong last start, but it began very badly. That's why I've left it out of my tips, because if it began badly last start from barrier 8, what's it going to do from 1? But if it happens to hit away, it's probably well in the race.
Yeah, it is probably worth noting that it's come up quite short. Money's starting to come for Gavin Langstride now. My Oil, what did you make of its only run?
Its run at Geelong was okay, but it was slow out and it didn't really have a lot of dash. That was its biggest problem, and I think that's what nearly cost it the race, because it was in a winning position on the home turn but couldn't take advantage of a split when it came. And Kind of Busy, who's in this race, just plodded up the straight and won the race. No dash over 1940. Leave me out as far as having a bet on it, but I mean, it's got to go in trifectas.
Hutch, just before you go on, I'll tell you, there's been money for a few runners on track. A move for number 1, Lee Torado, it's firmed in 1 point. A bit of money for number 5, My Oil, and a little bit of money for number 10, Greek Fighter. Please continue.
Yes, Marty Navigator's got ability. I've seen it run some nice races on occasions. Away okay in its last standing start, so that's a little bit in its favour. I missed out on 3, Light of Fire. It was disappointing last start, but it's been a little bit of a nibble for it in the betting ring. 6, Sir Jake Cheval is a first starter of Caldo's and has trialled okay, winning a trial here, beating the Trotter Bonspiel Chewy in 2.7.8 over 23.80, so that would give it some sort of chance. 7 and 8, Vino and At the Warrnambool, I think, are outclassed. Number 9, Cano Zorba. Well, Chris told us all about it. It's not without a chance, Cano Zorba, and it'll be well driven too. 10, Greek Fighter. You're tipping it, so we obviously noticed it's running the death the other night at Ballarat, where
I thought it was a sign of getting back to its best form. If you go back about 8 or 10 months ago, this looked like being a pretty good horse.
Front of the field sort of horse, so being off 10, it's going to have to go around them, and it did pull very hard the other night, but it's a genuine chance in this race. 11, Super Rose is the one you end up coming up with because it's a good race horse. It sat outside the leader at Kilmore last start, beat a poor field there in slow time, but it's getting back to somewhere near its good form that it showed last season. 12, Kind of Busy's got ability, but I think it's well held off 10 metres because it doesn't show a lot of early speed. 13, Lady Calypso, the only thing you've got going for it is Brian Gath. And 14, First or Best is handy without being anything special. My tips for what they're worth are 11, 4 and 10, but I wouldn't be surprised what happened in this race.
Okay, you can see them starting to get ready for a start here. We should update the big one at the Bool.
Yeah, and the Sundance Kid, Adam, has been very, very easy. The favourite on opening has gone out a point on the track. Also easy is Usurper, which has gone out a full point. Turkey Lane has been very solid and has remained at its opening quote on the track. Lake Thor has been a fraction easy, but not nearly as easy as the Sundance Kid. That's the market move at the moment. Out of point, the Sundance Kid. Out of point, Usurper. As far as the roughies in the field are concerned, there's really been no money for anything at the big odds in the race. So most of the money has been for Turkey Lane. It's maintained its quote, and the Sundance Kid is the one that has been easy. So the order of betting at the moment, Turkey Lane now the favourite, the Sundance Kid second pick, third pick Lake Thor, fourth pick Usurper. Will keep you up to date as the Grand Annual draws closer.
As we've mentioned, well, I know the crowd's drawing closer to packing that area out the front of the grandstand. You wait until we get close to a start. If we get a chance to have a shot of that, that's about where I watch it from. You can see a guy on the right-hand side of your screen there in a red jumper. No, it's just been obscured.
Oh, yeah.
That's where.
Not down the front there?
Yeah, that's it. Sort of, that's about usual. Where?
Him?
Oh, no, hopefully not a girl. just a bit further up there you can...
Oh, yes.
Just a bit higher. Oh, it's being obscured. You're doing a good job anyway.
Around about there anyway.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Who's trying to find?
Oh, I'm just showing where I usually watch the race from when I'm down there.
Which is of tremendous interest to everyone at home on Channel 31.
That's the vantage point to watch from, I think, anyway. I'm probably a little bit taller than a few of the others that get down there.
Good-looking chicks get the one.
Trust you to say that.
Well,
here they go at the Valley. Here's Rick.
And Leah Torado on the inside got a fly off the pole. It will lead them. Make Your Own Luck was galloping shortly after the start, and Sir Jake Cheval stepped well and is going forward. So did First or Best from outside the second race, spearing up to third but a little wide. Then Cato Zorba driving through to follow the leader, and Light of Fire one off the fence. Greek Fighter is deep, then Marty Navigator getting back to the inside in the early stages. They're followed in turn as they travel into the back by Kinda Busy, who's out a bit deep. Vino between runners, Make Your Own Luck on the inside. Further back to Super Rose. They're followed over on the outside of it as they go into the back straight by At the Warrnambool. A long way back, Lady Calypso is three deep going forward, and after an ordinary getaway, My Oil is last on the inside. Lead time from the stand, 29.6 at the lap and a half. The pace looks okay. Leah Torado on top, 3 metres to Greek Fighter. Third over on the inside, Cano Zorba, and 1-1 First or Best. They're followed three back along the fence to Marty Navigator, and three back the running line was Sir Jake Cheval. Four back the inner, Make Your Own Luck. Around it, Light of Fire. Lady Calypso out deep on the track, still trying to press forward. Around the outside of Kinda Busy. The inside is My Oil. Then At the Warrnambool, latching onto the back of Lady Calypso. Super Rose was last now, but joining the three wide line as it goes around Vino. First quarter, 30 seconds even. The second will be with us shortly as they leave the post behind them now in search of the back straight once again. 800 metres to go on the front runner, Leah Torado. Through the second quarter in 31.4. It's Catch Me If You Can tactics adopted by the driver here, John Dewhurst, on Leah Torado. It's 4 metres in front of Greek Fighter, who's done plenty of work. Cano Zorba on the inside under some pressure. Then First or Best going three wide. This presses Sir Jake Cheval out four wide. Then Marty Navigator through the centre from Make Your Own Luck. My Oil is railed in front of half the field. Then Light of Fire. Back to the inside, Kinda Busy. Super Rose from a long way back runs on. The rest are out of it, headed by At the Warrnambool up to the corner. Third quarter in 29.1. Gee, can Leah Torado keep on going? This has been a super effort. It'll straighten up 6 metres to Greek Fighter. Marty Navigator is out. Then My Oil, Cano Zorba. First or Best can't go on. Running on Make Your Own Luck. And also Super Rose. But Leah Torado's going to run its rivals ragged. Leah Torado in the run to the post, 10 metres in front. Marty Navigator up to second, but Leah Torado bolts in. Marty Navigator second. Greek Fighter third, wasn't a bad effort. Then Cano Zorba fourth. Followed further back in the race then to Vino, who made some ground. With it in the field, Make Your Own Luck. And further back in the race then to Kinda Busy. Followed by Light of Fire, My Oil. Well back At the Warrnambool. First or Best, Sir Jake Cheval. Super Rose with them. And last in was Lady Calypso, the final quarter in 30.3.
Very impressive win there to Lee Torado. As Hutchie mentioned, made that mistake at the start at Geelong when it was very strongly fancied. Not today. Drew the pole, which must have been some query from the stand, but not according to punters on track. They actually like this one. Expect $9.50 for the win. And John Dewhurst, once it led, decided that he was going to make the most of that advantage. He kept running. The sectional times were very, very solid in the middle stages. And, yeah, it's paid $9.50 and started much, much better than that. In fact, it's run home its last mile in 2 minutes, 0.8. 30, 31.4, 29.1, 30.3. That's a brilliant run. And for the 1940 metre stand start, to 2:04.8 the mile rate. We'd expect to see last miles in 2 minutes from horses running in Saturday night class, not here, especially from a stand start. So it had a little bit on them, that horse, obviously, especially when it stepped away. It was a lot more than just being safe manners that got it home, I think, as the time show that.
Opening favourite on the tote too, Adam, and it's got out to pay around about $9.50.
Well, it was a remarkable drift on the tote. We did mention just before they went that there was some money on track, and there was. It was 5s into 4s, back out to about 9 to 2, but it's paid, you know, about 8.5 to 1 on the tote. So there you go, $9.50 is the official win dividend. The running double on 2 What a Style and 1 Lee Torado, 126.20. Run through the win and place, 9.53 even. That's 9.53.10, 3.10 Marty Navigator and 2.70 Greek Fighter. Quinella 35.20. The trifecta 487.40, and we've given you that running double.
Running double was big too. The winner in the previous event started 11 to 2, and Lee Torado probably about a 9 to 2 chance, $126.
There's the betting fluctuations. They may not be the final fluctuations or the official SPs, but you can see good money for Lee Torado, very good support for Marty Navigator and Greek Fighter. The 3 horses at Firmed have run the placings.
Yeah. And John Dewhurst, a bold drive, as Adam said, letting the horse roll along from probably about 900 metres out. And the sectional's very good, and that last mile in just a tick over 2 minutes. So good performance by Lee Torado. And given the fact that the race was so even, if you knew that that horse was going to go straight to the front and run those sectionals, well, you would have been having a house on it.
Absolutely. Just that money on track suggested that they may have corrected whatever the problem was that caused it to gallop away at Geelong. We can see Hutchie down there about to take his position with John Dewhurst, and let's go to Hutch now.
Yeah, John Dewhurst winning a race at Moonee Valley. Pretty impressive, John Lee Torado.
Yeah, I've only had him, this is only his second start, I've only had him about 5 weeks, I suppose, and he could sort of run a bit. The owner that bought him sent him on Sky one day and said he was impressive, so he went and bought him.
You probably threw in for a bit of a win at his first start for you and missed the start?
At Geelong?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just thought he was trying all right, but when you're on the second line, it's just sort of hit and miss, and you've got to rely on the fellas in front of you, and we weren't too concerned, but we thought we'd get off the front. Well, he might have a chance. So.
Yeah, certainly ran him along in front. Was that the idea?
Yes, that was the idea, because he can stay all day. He hasn't got a lot of sprint about him, but he can stay all day.
Well, he ran just a tick over 2 minutes for his last mile, so he's done a big job.
He has, yes.
John, we haven't seen you here in the winner's circle for a while.
No, it's too long, isn't it?
When was the last winner at Moonee Valley?
Oh, I don't know whether it was Macaloo or who it was, but it was a long time ago.
Well, now you're back, and this fella could improve on it. Look, you better get out of here, I'll get killed.
Okay, then.
Congratulations, John, and well done.
Okay, thank you.
My God. That's all, boy.
I really do feel seasick. Lee Torado, 5 to 1 officially. Marty Navigator, 9 to 2 favourite. And Greek Fighter at 7 to 1, and they're at the dividends on race 3.
Yes, we've run through those divvies, just recapping $9.50 and $3.10 for the winner. Closing in on the big one at the Bull, and we gave you that news that the Sundance kid, who was so impressive winning the Briley on Tuesday and was expected to have a little bit over his rivals in this race before news came out of an injury scare, well, he's been very easy. There's been perhaps some loyal support for him, can we call it, just in the last minute or so from the track.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if the punters are saying, well, he's getting out to ridiculous odds now, given his win the other day. And, almost got out to the each way quote, and he's tightened up just a fraction again. Now Turkey Lane's been a little bit easy, almost out to the each way. Lake Thor's round about the each way, and Usurper's about a point over the each way. Can you remember a Grand Annual where you've had 4 horses within practically a point of each other?
I think the vivid memories that come back about this race are the outstanding short price favourites that go around in it, but certainly not here. at this stage, there's 11 minutes of betting to go, and at least 3, possibly even 4 horses could start favourite. The main 3 in contention are numbers 3, 5 and 7.
Well, this might help you to make up your mind. This is the Briley from Tuesday, and the Sundance Kid is the horse with the baldy face. He made a mistake up on top of the hill. Now, Lake Thor is a horse to watch here. He is a fair way back at this stage of the race. He's in dark sleeves, and that's him running into about 7th or 8th position at the moment, Lake Thor. The Sundance Kid is the horse in front, and he really only made one mistake in the race, Adam, and that was the one on top of the hill. But watch Lake Thor. He's just getting up on the outside of the grey now, so you can see that he's probably giving the Sundance Kid 8 lengths or so there. But watch the way he gets home over the last couple of 100 metres. Real stayer. He ran 2nd in this race last year, and the horse he chased home last year carried the same colours that he chased home the other day. John Wheeler's colours. Foxboy won the race last year. Will it be the Sundance Kid this time? Will Lake Thor make up for his 2nd position? Will Usurper give Jim Houlihan a victory, or will it be Turkey Lane, the winner of the Great Eastern Steeplechase? Fantastic racing prospect, it really is.
Yeah, what you need to remember is that this is virtually another extra race tacked on at the end of the Briley. They're going an extra 2,000 metres.
Well, John Bell is standing by. No doubt, Belly, the atmosphere building up before the big one at Warrnambool today.
Yeah, it certainly is. The crowd is abuzz as the runners are beginning to go onto the track here, Peter. And as you've just spoken about, any one of 4 horses could start favourite here. It really is a tricky race for punters to work out, mainly due to the heavy conditions, I would suggest. Number 3, Turkey Lane. Well, it was a fairy tale when he won at Oakbank. Can the fairy tale continue today? We'll ask his trainer, Brian Searle. Just go back to Oakbank. What a terrific day that must have been for you.
Oh, yeah, I'll never forget it. Yeah, good day.
Well, the horse has just come along in leaps and bounds over the last couple of months, and now he's set to go in as one of the favourites here.
Yes, well, as you know, said before, he'd had injury last year and we had to stop him, and he's got over that year and he's back in full colours. Yeah, good.
Well, after he won at Oakbank, defeating the Sundance Kid by 6 lengths, you took him back to the hurdles, and he won there over 3,200. Are you a bit surprised there?
Actually, I was. I had 2 in it, and I thought the other horse would win, but he turned the tables on me.
Must have been a pleasant surprise.
It was, yeah, it was a pleasant one.
Now, what about from then on? That was Victoria Park on Anzac Day. How's he done since then?
He's done real well, yeah. Yeah, I've just worked him along the beach, a few swims in the Port River, and and a few track gallops. That's all he's done, yeah.
And he only arrived here this morning?
Yeah, come down from Mount Gambier this morning. I went as far as Mount Gambier yesterday, and come down this morning, yeah. Travelled well too, surprisingly.
Well, the one thing you definitely know is that the conditions today are no problem to your horse.
No, well, they shouldn't be. These last 2 starts and 2 wins have been on heavy tracks, so it didn't worry him.
Oh, well, best of luck. There's 33 fences ahead of him. I'm sure you'll be holding your breath at each of them.
I certainly will, and I hope he comes back at one piece.
Good luck, Brian.
Thank you.
Brian Searle there, the trainer of Turkey Lane, who is right in the market here. He actually opened up 2nd favourite at around the $4 mark. He's drifted out a full point, so he's a shade under on the tote at the moment. We have 33 fences these horses have to jump, and they'll be doing 2 laps of the figure 8 circuit. So you're in for some entertainment if you haven't seen one before. Settle back, because you're in for an absolute treat here. The Sundance Kid is favourite. He is an easing favourite. After his win on Tuesday, a lot of people expected him to be a pretty short price favourite today. The wet conditions have changed that around. He's around a $4.25 chance now, as the tote is. Trained by John Wheeler, who joins me. John, well, there's been a cloud over the horse since he won. I mean, in everyone else's mind, I think, but you're not too concerned?
No, I haven't been concerned at all, but there's a cloud over the course. No, he's all right. He's 100%, and he'll give a good sight today, and he's just got to get over the 33 fences.
Well, you spoke to us yesterday. You said that he is a pretty clean jumper normally.
Yeah, he's never made a blue in his life until the other day on Tuesday, and hopefully he doesn't make one today, but got our fingers crossed.
Well, this horse met Turkey Lane at Oakbank. There was 6 lengths between them on similar conditions to what today is. Has he made that enough improvement to turn that around?
Yeah, we had him prepared at Oakbank for a dry track. I've never seen rain at Oakbank before, and so we assumed it would be dry, and in fact it wasn't. It was a real bog, heavier than today, and he just quite simply wasn't quite prepared for it, as my other horses weren't either, and that showed. But you know, today he's had another couple of races under his belt, and he'll be a lot fitter.
So the ground's no concern to him?
No, not at all.
Well, he's nearly a good thing then, isn't he?
He'll be a big chance. Yeah. If he only jumps 32 fences, we're in trouble.
All right, Johnny, best of luck.
Okay.
John Wheeler there, the trainer of the Sundance Kid, and if you did fancy the horse, well, there's a nice leg up. That's very important information that John's given us there, that the horse wasn't quite prepared for the Grand Annual the Great Eastern at Oakbank for heavy going, and it was only his condition that gave out when Turkey Lane joined in like he'd just come into the race at the 1,000-metre mark. So that's a very nice leg up you've got there for the Sundance Kid, and they are betting very good odds here. They bet as much as $4.50. That's been snapped up by a quarter point, and he's going to run it looks like he's going to run favourite ahead of Turkey Lane, who, as I said, has drifted 1 point. He's no value on the tote at the moment. And we'll have a look at all the runners here. Best Endeavours, of course, he's an outstanding chaser. He's 11 years old now. The distance is absolutely no problem for him. He's had 36 starts over the jumps for 8 wins and 12 placings for $340,000. He'll be one of the horses that'll be a long way back early, but just look for him to start to improve from about the 2,000-metre mark. He'll start working into the race for Michael Patton. He certainly has a chance at pretty good odds, and punters have taken a little nibble at him. They bet $16. That's been trimmed up by 1 point, so you're getting good value at $17 on the tote at the moment. Usurper, well, there's a query around him as well, because he was a short price favourite here on Tuesday in finishing third to the Sundance Kid. He did choke down over the final stages in the run. A tongue tie has been fitted to him today. Heavy conditions, probably some concern. He has won in wet conditions, but it's a lot tougher for him having his first try over 5,500 metres today on what is pretty much a light preparation. He's only had the one steeplechase run this time in. He has been easy in the betting ring. He's $4.50 out to $6, so the tote's pretty spot on with him. There's some money coming here for Turf Tavern. Number 4 from the Rod Simons camp, Jamie Evans to ride. They bet 4 times the each way quote. It's been trimmed up by 2 points. No value on the tote at $10. You're about 5 points under what the bookmakers are offering, but there is a sprinkling of support, and you know you've got one of Australia's best riders on top in Jamie Evans. Number 5, Lake Thor, one of the top chances. Anyone that did see, and you just saw the replay of Tuesday's race, Lake Thor was finishing powerfully over the final stages, and the 5,500 metres is certainly no threat to this horse. Did run second last year to Foxboy, that super chaser. Lake Thor appears to be trained to the minute, has an outstanding chance of winning. He's at the each way quote, which is a drift of half a point, so the tote's right there. The Sundance Kid retains favouritism. We'll go down to Conceivable Talak. He ran 8th here on Tuesday, was well beaten, but you go back a couple of starts. He was 5-2 in the Tasmanian Grand National Steeple, won by Lake Thor. Lake Thor was only a 9-4 chance, so punters didn't consider there was a lot between them on that occasion. He's at very good odds on the tote at $50. He's about 10 points lighter with the bookmakers, but it wouldn't be such a surprise to see Conceivable Talak run a place. Number 9, I'll Be Judge. Well, there's some money coming in for this horse also. They bet $17. That was twisted out by 4 points. Now it's been knocked off. He's come in that 4 points again. One thing I can guarantee you with this horse, he absolutely loves the mud. He ran 4th in Tuesday's Briley behind the Sundance Kid. It was a very good effort. He'll be racing up on the speed. Wayne Smith to ride, one of the local riders around here, and he knows the track quite well. I'll Be Judge, another good roughie with a little bit of a chance. We've got more moves in here. John Wheeler's obviously ducked out to the betting ring to snap up that $4.25 because there's only $4 is on offer now, and it looks like he's going to start favourite for sure. So money coming in for I'll Be Judge. Will race on the speed, has a little bit of a chance of filling a placing. Number 10, Vautinsk, appears to be coming in on a pretty light campaign of only 2 steeplechase runs, but I can assure you he has got the right man to do it. Jim Houlihan trains Vautinsk, a half-brother to Vo Rogue. Now, Vautinsk has had some problems, and I believe at Moonee Valley last start, when he was well beaten, he did have some problems with his back. I believe they have been rectified. He may be an improver. He's only at $21 with the bookmaker, so you're getting good value on the tote at the moment. Number 11, off again, fell in Tuesday's Briley. Probably needs to lift a little bit here to figure in the finish, but he has gone well around the point-to-points, and if he jumps cleanly, he might be able to sneak a place at odds because he'll be sticking on. He's betting around the 50-1 mark with the bookmakers. Trojan Gift, the 9-year-old, who's won 3 of 45 starts over the jumps, he's out to big odds. $100 on the tote is 60 points lighter than what the bookmakers are offering, however. We go down to Daring Enterprise. He ran 5th in the Briley on Tuesday, and he does one bat on all right. He ran 3rd in this race 2 years ago, I believe it was. He's at big odds also around the 40-1 mark, as is the 16 Funny Fella. And the bottom horse has come in for a sprinkling of support. They did bet around the 66-1 mark. That's been knocked off by 16 points. So just a sprinkling of money for the bottom horse, a 10-year-old who has won 1 of 13 starts over jumps. The runners are behind the barriers. You've only got 1 minute of betting remaining. The favourite will be the Sundance Kid. I'm tipping him on top. And after listening to John Wheeler, I've gained in confidence there. The dangers, they look obvious. 5, Lake Thor. 2 Usurper with the tongue tie on, and 3 Turkey Lane. But they are starting to move up. Hope you enjoy the race. We're in for a thrilling 33 fence race here.
No doubt we're going to enjoy it, John. One of the great spectacles in Australian racing, about to get underway, the Grand Annual Steeplechase. And they'll start at the top of the straight. They'll run in the clockwise direction, jump 3 down the straight. Then they'll go across Alfred Road, out into Briley Paddock. Then they'll jump the Cox's Hill double, then come down Granter's Paddock to the Tozer Road double. They'll turn left the first time, over the Man Trap, and then they'll do it all again, except when they get to the Tozer Road double the second time, they'll turn right. And many a Grand Annual has been decided at that very point, including one a few years ago when John Wheeler had a horse called Light Horse in, and he was considered, a light hand I should say, and he was considered the hot favourite, and everyone thought a justified favourite until he got to the Tozer Road double the second time. Light hand wanted to go left, the jockey wanted him to go right, and they had a difference of opinion and parted company. Let's hope that doesn't happen today. Stalls being filled now, 14 runners, 33 fences, more than any other jumping race in the world. It truly is a wonderful spectacle, and Turkey Lane is going to run the tote favourite from the Sundance Kid, Lake Thor and Usurper. 4 excellent chances here. We've got some great trainers represented as well. The veteran Jim Houlihan from Rosebud, John Wheeler, who's had such great success with jumpers over the years, Eric Musgrove, one of the great jumping trainers, and also Pat Hyland. They're just about right. Here's Brian Martin for the Grand Annual of 98.
Set to run. The lights on. Set. Racing. Out in a good line too. He quickly took hold of the Sundance Kid out in the middle, and Lake Thor and off again, and Usurper bounced quickly. From the outside, Funny Fella and also Conceivable Telic. Now the Sundance Kid is starting to poke through in the middle. Funny Fella's just in front. Here's the first of their fences. He wants to fight the rider. The Sundance Kid has quickly got up inside him. 2 further back, Conceivable Telic with Usurper, Trojan Gift, and off again. Here's the first of their fences, and they sail over it now from I'll Be Judge, Turf Tavern, Daring Enterprise, then Vautinsk. Further back in the race, and Zacapet followed by Lake Thor as they go to the second. The Best Endeavours put in a very sticky one early. He and Turkey Lane have dropped out to the tail. Over the last of 3 down the lane the first time, and the leader is the Sundance Kid. He goes out by a length and a half now to Funny Fella. That rider is fighting with him at the moment, and I'll Be Judge got up on the inside of Funny Fella. Trojan Gift around the outside, a length then Usurper. Further back then off again, Conceivable Telic. In behind them then Daring Enterprise, followed by Turf Tavern. Then the outside Vautinsk. Further back in the race, and Zacapet followed by Lake Thor as they go to the first of the Alfred Road double, and the leader handled it well coming up to the second. He cut the corner and took them into Briley Paddock now, and it's the Sundance Kid. He's facing 3 fence going up the rising ground. Into Briley they go, and the Sundance Kid out by about 3 lengths. In second placing is I'll Be Judge. On the outside, Trojan Gift is running third, about 4 lengths further back in the race then Funny Fella. Around it, Conceivable Telic, a length and a half. Vautinsk followed by Usurper, and then off again 3 Daring Enterprise, 2 Turf Tavern as they go over the next fence. They're followed further back in the race by Zacapet, about 4 then to Lake Thor, 3 to Turkey Lane, and 4 to Best Endeavours. He's about 25, 30 lengths off the lead. At Briley up towards the top of the hill, towards the Cox's Hill double. Here's the last one in Briley on the first round, and the Sundance Kid got over it nicely, about 4 or 5 lengths in front. Second is I'll Be Judge. 3 further back in the race then came Trojan Gift running third as they go to the top of the hill. Here's the double up on top of the hill at the Cox's Hill double. Here's the first coming up for the Sundance Kid. He handled it well. Onto the road he goes. Over the second he goes, and he's out about 4 lengths in front from I'll Be Judge as they go into Granter's Paddock, and they're coming downhill now in this first round, and the Sundance Kid jumped it well, about 3 lengths to I'll Be Judge second. 4 further back, Trojan Gift. 3 to Conceivable Telic, 2 to Usurper. Here's the double now, and Tozer's Road double down at the bottom of the hill, and they'll swing to the left. Over the first he goes, the Sundance Kid. Came to the next, he swung out a little wide, lost a little ground. I'll Be Judged 3 lengths off him at about 6 further back in the race. Off again, got up on the inside of Trojan Gift. Then Conceivable Telic, 2 further back in the race. Then came Turf Tavern, moving up on the outside of Vautinsk. Usurper on the inside from Daring Enterprise. Further back in the race, Funny Fella. A gap to Zacapet, followed further back by Turkey Lane, who's got 2 behind him as they measure the next fence, and they are Lake Thor and 6 lengths tailed off his Best Endeavours. Coming out towards the side again, and they've almost gone around, and the leader is the Sundance Kid here in the Grand Annual. The Sundance Kid out in front about 3 lengths. He comes up to this next fence. Here he comes to it, handled it well. Second is off again. He's made good ground, and Trojan Gift got rid of the rider. Trojan Gift has dumped the rider, and they've almost gone a circuit. Back from where they're started now in the Grand Annual, and the Sundance Kid 2 in front. Off again's made good ground, second with a lap to go. 2 further back on the race. race, then came I'll Be Judge, followed by Turf Tavern, then Voutinsk Usurper, the inside as they measure that next one, then Conceivable Talic further back, then Zacapet, then further back was Daring Enterprise, followed by Turkey Lane, Lake Thor, and last of all is Best Endeavours. Coming down the straight now, round one, they've gone over 16 fences, 17 to go. A lap out now in the lead of the Sundance Kid here in the Grand Annual. He comes back towards the treble. He's 2 lengths in front of Off Again, a length and a half further back in the race then. I'll Be Judge on the inside of Turf Tavern as they go to the next. Then Voutinsk Usurper, followed by Zacapet. Further back, Daring Enterprise, Conceivable Talic. Oh, the leader put in a bad one. The Sundance Kid, he hit that second one down the straight. Turkey Lane a fair way back with Lake 4 and Best Endeavours 4 lengths last of all. They've completed the treble and I'll Be Judge got up on the inside of the Sundance Kid as they head towards Alfred for the last time. A length further back in the race, then Off Again, followed by Turf Tavern. And there goes Usurper making his ground right up on the inside. A length further back, Zacapet. They're followed further back in the race by Voutinsk and Daring Enterprise, Conceivable Talic. Funny Fella, Lake Thor, followed further back in the race by Turkey Lane. Best Endeavours last of all. Alfred Road double over the first, over the second, and Usurper's got a beautiful run up on the inside as they go to Briley. For the last time, the Sundance Kid again took over. 1.5 Usurper who went up second. I'll Be Judges running third, then Off Again back on the outside of Turf Tavern as they go to the first of Briley for the last time. Then Zacapet from Daring Enterprise, 2 to Turkey Lane. They're followed by Voutinsk and then Lake Thor starting his run from Conceivable Talic. Funny Fella's lost some ground and Best Endeavours last of all. Over that second one, and there's one that's lost the rider, Lake Thor. Lake Thor's lost his rider out there in Briley and heading up towards the last one. The leader is the Sundance Kid, a length in front. Second is Usurper as they're about to complete the fences in Briley. Third, Zacapet. Turf Tavern was down on his nose. Off Again went up fourth. Then Daring Enterprise, followed by Turkey Lane, Voutinsk, Conceivable Talic. Best Endeavours a mile from them and Funny Fellas dropped out. Up towards the top hill for the last time, the Sundance Kid by 2. The Boulder running second is Zacapet. Then on the inside, Usurper as they come into Grantis for the last time. They're followed by Turf Tavern, then Off Again as they come down the hill, and down is Turf Tavern the grey. Turf Tavern has gone down and Turkey Lane has lost the rider. Turkey Lane is out of it now, coming to the bottom of the hill for the last time. Over the first, the Sundance Kid handled it well, came over the second. Conceivable Talic has lost his rider down there at the road double, and onto the course proper, 4 fences to go, 1,000 out, and the leader, the Sundance Kid, up on his inside, Usurper. 3 further back, I'll Be Judged, then Zacapet, Daring Enterprise and Off Again. Here's the 4th last, and it's the Sundance Kid and Usurper. They're locked together by 3. Second on the outside, third of the race at the moment is I'll Be Judge. Then Zacapet further back in the race, then Off Again and Daring Enterprise. The Sundance Kid and Usurper. 2 fences to go in the Grand Annual. He won't give in the Sundance Kid. He's ahead in front. Usurper almost on terms. 5 further back, I'll Be Judge. Daring Enterprise, Zacapet, and further back, then Off Again. 2 great chances here. Over it now, it's the Sundance Kid and Usurper, Houlihan and Wheeler. 1 fence to go. They're 6 lengths in front now of the further back in the race, then came Off Again. Over on the inside of it, I'll Be Judge. They've got 1 fence to go in the Grand Annual. Usurper on the outside and on the inside, the Sundance Kid. Neither will give an inch. They're locked together coming around the turn. They bumped. 1 fence to go. Usurper having a crack at the Sundance Kid. They're coming to the last of 33. Here they come, the Sundance Kid on the inside. Usurper's down. The Usurper crashed to the last, and it's the Sundance Kid presented with a Grand Annual. He's 6 or 7 in front. Off Again to second. Zacapet is at the moment into third, followed further back by I'll Be Judged. The Sundance Kid has won the Grand Annual. He wins it by 8 lengths. Off Again is second, 4 away third, the Boulder Zacapet. Then I'll Be Judged, followed by Daring Enterprise, Best Endeavours. Just coming in now, Funny Fella. And Usurper was running the race of his life, but he's crashed at the last fence when locked together with the Sundance Kid. And he's down, and of course, attendants are at him pretty quickly.
Well, what an amazing race it was. It turns in an incredible story every year, and this year, no different. What a race it was for the last 1,400 metres between these 2 horses. From the time they jumped the Cox's Hill double, they almost went stride for stride. They came together at the 300 metre mark, and then it came down to which horse was going to jump the last better. The Sundance Kid on the inside, Usurper ridden into it by Craig Durden, and unfortunately he jumped the first 32 but didn't make it over the 33rd. Let's hope that horse is okay. He went to the ground pretty quickly, but it looked like exhaustion more than injury. And there have been horses that, of course, Gallywood, that famous incident where he got to the last at Warrnambool and he collapsed through exhaustion, and everyone thought, unfortunately, that his injuries might have been fatal, but he got up. And let's hope that horse...
around Gallywood that day, didn't
yeah,
they? So,
let's hope that horse does get up, Usurper. But all honours with the winner, the Sundance Kid. They took him on, and he's just stayed all day. And John Wheeler and Brett Scott have 2 consecutive grand annuals.
Well, you could probably count on one hand the number of gallops races Hutchie had watched in a week, but you thought that one was pretty special, Hutch?
Yeah, he's coming over now.
Love it. I mean, don't you worry. The Grand Annual's been my favourite race on the racing calendar, including Melbourne Cups a lot. It's just sensational. Grand
Annual.
Annual.
Love a pacer that courageous?
Well, that was just brilliant. I mean, the dash that horse showed, and just to keep going under all the pressure and everything they threw at him. Every time a horse came at him, he just sort of stretched out and raced away again, didn't he?
Yeah. He clipped one, we saw in about the middle stages of the race, picked himself up.
It was down the straight with just under a lap to go. He clipped the middle one of that treble in the straight. And as you said, he picked himself up, but they challenged him several times. And Brett Scott, who's had so much bad luck in this race, as we mentioned, Light Hand a few years ago, he was going to win the race and off he came. John Wheeler had to wait a long time, and now he's won 2 in a row. And here he is with John Bell, the winning trainer, Johnny Wheeler.
No, he's not, but he is on his way. John and the crowd just welcoming this horse back. And another great display of jumping from one of John Wheeler's horses. Oh, John, congratulations.
Thanks very much. Yeah, thanks a lot. It's a great thrill. Yeah. Might have been a bit lucky. We came to the last head-and-head with Usurper, and unfortunately he fell over. It would have been a great battle.
Yeah, well, it was a great battle right up to that stage. They were going neck and neck for 1,000.
2 great riders, 2 good horses, and well trained. It was sad, but that's the way it goes, yeah.
Well, it's certainly high pressure coming to that last jump, and Brett wasn't giving an inch there with Usurper on his outside, Craig Durden.
That's right. Well, they're both top riders, and they know what they can get away with and what they can't. So it was a great battle. It was just a pity it didn't finish, you know, the way we expect.
Well, that's 2 in a row for you. You'll be coming back next year. What do you got for us next year?
I don't know. I'll have to find one.
Good on you, Johnny. Congratulations. A very happy John Wheeler there. And as John said, it is unfortunate that that battle wasn't going to come down to the line. We'll check the condition of all the riders and horses. Usurper doesn't look too good, unfortunately. When I left the rail over there, he hadn't got up from the track, which is very unfortunate. But it is a fantastic race, and the whole way through the 5,500 metres, it is just action-packed, and the crowd really loved it here. And as you can hear in the background, it's pretty exciting times here at Warrnambool. The best news is we've got plenty more to come.
Yes, John, and congratulations to John Wheeler and to Brett Scott, and we do have our fingers crossed for Usurper and all of the other horses. Most of them seem to get up, and most of them continued on their way, but we'll certainly check on the condition of the jockeys. A couple of heavy falls there. There are the dividends. The Sundance Kid, $4 and $1.80. Off again, $6.60. Zacapet, $10.80. So a couple of bolters getting into the placings behind one of the favourites. The Quinella paid $87. Trifecta, $3,420.10. And the running double on 6 putter and 7...